I would, one of the, one of the things that I'd like to bring up, and I don't know if I have with you, to anybody who's interested in joining the program, like I told you, it is for AFA members. And if any of these other guys that you were mentioning in your troop, in your unit, would like to join the AFA, I would recommend it. And one of the things that I like to bring up to military guys when I'm talking to them about the AFA and the AMP project is that Steve McNown himself earned both his jump wings and his Ranger tab when he was in the Army. So the head of the AFA was actually an airborne Ranger. So I know with you cavalry guys that might not mean a whole lot, but I figured to most military guys that would be a good thing to know that the head of the AFA is in fact a veteran, and also like I said, he earned his Ranger tab and his jump wings.
No, that still means something to us too. It's definitely something to admire. It's I was aware of that, but no, that definitely is cool. And that actually leads me to another question, which was something that one time me and Brian were talking, and he had brought up, and considering what your feelings on the matter were, being a soldier and having deployed before as well. He had mentioned that a lot of soldiers come back messed up mentally because of what they've seen, what they've done over there, and he had pretty much said that it was because of our Christian mentality, and that if a lot of soldiers had a more heathen approach to life, that would be different, that they'd be realizing, that this isn't, it's not necessarily against who we are, as opposed to, Christianity, where it is. I was just wondering what your feelings on that were. Do you think that's necessarily a true statement, or
that if more soldiers had a heathen worldview and mindset, that they wouldn't necessarily suffer as bad from PTSD?
Roger.
Well, I would think that, and I can tell you from my personal experiences with several, Marine friends and soldiers that I've personally known who've been in combat, that there really is no avoiding that. There really is no avoiding some semblance of, some small smidge of PTSD, no matter what your mindset and worldview is. I do think that a heathen soldier or sailor or Marine or airman would be better equipped to deal with it. I don't think that would necessarily preclude them from actually suffering from it, but I don't think that the suffering would be quite as bad. And I say that simply because there are no hang-ups as far as we're concerned. As far as I've come to understand it, the main feelings that one has is, taking another human life, just the horrors of war, the things, like you said, that they've seen and things that they've, had to do. But I think that we as heathens see the preservation of our own life, so that we can come back to our hearths and our kith and kin as something, of course, to strive for and achieve at all costs. So I would think that it would be experienced to a lesser degree. Sending these guys out into harm's way, thousands of miles from home. One of the things that I would like to do as a military folk builder is to remind them and reinforce to them that they, of course, are going forth in service of their country, but that they, more importantly, are going forth in service to us, to the folk itself, to all the officers and all their families and all the folk, be they, the newest little heathen born wherever in America, or, the oldest graybeard. we feel that more importantly, that they are going forth in service of us, and that means something to us, and that we value that, and that we truly honor that we aren't just someone paying lip service to, the soldiers and the troops, because that's the patriotic American thing to do, which is well and good, as anyone should, in my opinion. But that there is a deeper meaning to us as officers when a heathen soldier or heathen sailor or heathen marine or heathen airman goes forth into harm's way. That means something more to us than just the average run of the mill. So, yeah, I would say that it would probably definitely help.
Well said. I definitely agree with that. I think it would have a deeper meaning to heathen soldiers. If they understood it from that point of view, and yeah, that well spoken, well said. So what originally made you accept the position as the military folkbuilder?
Well, first off, when our chief operating officer Brad Taylor Hicks, when he approached me and asked me to do it, I was extremely honored to be considered, to be asked to. To me, I saw it as a win-win situation. I've loved the military and its culture my entire life. I know maybe you as an Army guy can appreciate this, but I grew up right outside of Fort Benning. So, I was pretty much raised in the Army. My father was not in the active duty Army at the time. He was in the National Guard, but he is a Vietnam vet, and I was raised with a high appreciation for the military. So, like I said, to me, it's a win-win. Not only am I serving soldiers and airmen and sailors and Marines and any service members and their families, but I'm serving fellow officers, and that's, you just couldn't get any better than that. And the other reason was that, since I left the service in the 90s, I've always looked for a way to do something meaningful for everyone that's still serving, to be able to give them some comfort, bring a smile to their face, whether it's a letter, whether it's a care package, whether it's, in this modern age, whether it's an email saying, hey, man, I know you're in Afghanistan or Iraq or wherever, but, we're thinking about you and we hope you come back safe and all that. I always look for something real meaningful to do, and I think that this is a very good opportunity for me to do that. As I said to Sheila now when I emailed her about various things about the program, I thanked her again for them choosing me to do this because, as I said, the military, its people, and its culture are something that I love as dearly as I do officer. So those are the reasons why I very readily accepted. There's no hesitation, no thinking about it. Just yes, absolutely.
Awesome. That's it's a worthy cause, and I definitely applaud you for picking it up and still helping the people in the military. I can't say that enough to the different organizations and stuff that aren't necessarily heathen, but still help out the military, like the USO and some of the other ones. I mean, it's great. I know personally, and I'm sure you've experienced it. Coming home from a deployment, and you fly into Atlanta or you fly into Dallas or something like that, and you still got however long to go before you get home, and there's a USO there waiting for you or something like that you can get a meal at or something like that. So yeah, I definitely applaud the different organizations that help the soldiers, and I think
well, that gives that thinking about that is I've thought about that before, about you guys coming back from deployment, and it would be something in the future to work towards, to say we know that, you are coming back at a certain date, and that, if you're able, which I know is not always possible, but if you're able to say, hey, military folk builder, I'm flying back, I'm rotating back to the world, and I'm going to be at the Atlanta airport on this date. I don't know exactly what time, but, this date sometime in the evening or sometime in the morning. If I had somebody, or if I personally could take the time off, it would be a good thing to meet you at that airport. And instead of, the USO services, which are great and awesome, and I love the USO, it might be nice to be able to, have something officer related there at the airport, to have AFA members there to meet you and to maybe take you off for dinner if you have enough time between flights, or just to be there. That's something to think about for the future.
That would be incredible. Yeah. That is something I could definitely get behind and support. That would that would be a great idea if at some point in the future that could be accomplished. I think a lot of soldiers would definitely like that. I know I would. And I think that would I think also too it might even be nicer in a sense than the USO, because as nice as the USO is, something like what you're talking about would be more like, meeting up with family, like your family meeting you at the airport, and helping you out while you still had a little bit to go on your journey, So I definitely that's a great idea, and I hope that is something that can be accomplished in the future.
Well, we'll definitely put it on the list of future projects.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And I probably shouldn't say this, but one way to maybe be able to get around the fact of not necessarily being able to talk about times and stuff like that would be because it's for religious reasons. I'm not 100% sure, but that may be an avenue to go or to check out. But so